Welcome to Visual Anthology Quick Steps. In this quick video, we're going to show you how to take a basic customer order and take a payment and ship it. There are quite a few other details about customer order. You're going to want to go to the help system either on the web or to the customer zone and get the documents for customer orders to get more specifics about all the other functionality that it has. But real quickly, there are a couple of major options that can affect how your customer order information is calculated. So you may want to go to Tools, Options, and then the COs tab just to take a quick peek at what your settings already are. In my case, mine is set to yes, I want to allow partial shipments. And I do want the system to automatically calculate what is shippable and what might need to be back ordered based on the quantity the customer is ordering and what I currently have on hand. And I also have mine set to yes, I do want to allow back orders in general. There are a few other settings to deal with, other information to deal with these other settings, but you can get that from the help system. I'm going to go ahead and close this out. And let's go create a basic customer order. So I go to Sales, Customer Orders. And in this List tab, you can see all my previous customer orders at varying states. Some are drafts, some are open, some are complete. These gray records, the shipment records, are just a historical record of what was posted on that particular day. But I'm going to create a new customer order, just like everywhere else in the system. It's F4 New. Notice we're on the Header tab. This is where you put in all sorts of supplemental information, aside from just the titles being ordered. Let's go ahead and select our customer. Let's use Donna here. So by default, notice that Donna's customer record is already non-resident, non-taxable, but I can change that. Maybe for some reason this particular order today does need to be taxable. And there's other settings as far as what her discount is, what her terms are, and so forth. Notice too, we also have a place to record if this was a quote, and we can even specify that this is going to be a quote, a pro forma. In this case, I'll skip that for the moment. Now, notice we pull in her billing and shipping address information from her customer record. But perhaps she's on a trip today or for the next week, and she wants us to ship this somewhere else, just this particular order. So let's just put in the address that she's going to want to have us ship it to. And this is only for this customer order. We're not going to go back and change her real customer record. It's just a temporary one-time change in the shipping for this order. And you also have a few other fields down here. Maybe you need to have something print specifically on her document, like let us know if you want other titles. And you also have the ability to record some notes that are for your eyes only. This will not show up on the invoice. This will, so make sure you've got those two straight. Now that we've got the sort of the supplemental type information set up, I'm going to go ahead and F10 save. Always a good idea to do that periodically. And now we can start to add titles to the customer order. We'll do that by going to the Details tab. And you can see it looks a lot like a purchase order or a book fare, similar idea. We're going to start listing what titles she wants and what quantities. So let's first select something we know we have enough on hand. So maybe she wants 2 copies of this dance guide. Now notice when I hit 2 in the order field, I'm going to hit Tab to move to the next field, the ship field. Notice that it automatically calculates 2 as being shipped. That's because, again, I have enough on hand and the autofill is turned on. So now that I've specified I want 2 copies, I could change the price, I could change the discount. I'm going to enter line. That pops the item up into the grid above. And so now we're ready to add another title. In this case, let's find one that we don't have enough on hand. I'm going to select this one that has 0 on hand, and maybe she wanted 2 copies of that one as well. But notice, again, the autofill is turned on. When I hit Tab here, notice instead of marking 2 as ship, it knew to mark 2 as back order. So at this point, same thing. I can change the price. I can change the discount. I'm going to enter the line, and before I continue on here, let me F10 save. So right now we have our draft customer order 109, and we have 2 items on it, two titles with 2 copies each. 2 copies are shippable, and 2 copies must be back ordered. We don't have enough on hand for them. This brings up details about how much does this person owe. Well, if we're only going to ship these 2 copies, notice we've calculated that she owes $33.92 on this particular line item. And that means that's the $33.92 for the item and the $2.04 in tax that she owes as well. So the total for what's shippable right now is $35.96. But if she wanted to know what her grand total was, the entire order, everything that could be sent out, regardless if it's ready right now or not, any tax that she might be charged, any shipping charges, then this order total field on the top left, you can see that the order total is $64.79. Again, we only calculate what is due in the total over here based on what is shippable. If this were a quote, then I would probably want to see to show in a printout, regardless of what was shippable, what the estimated cost was. That's where the pro forma comes in. We can talk about that later. But at this point, based on what is shippable at this moment in time, she owes $35.96, or what she may have to owe for the entire order would be $64.79. Let's say Donna has said, you know what, just ship out what you can when you've got it, and she's going to give us a check for each batch that we're shipping out. So in that scenario, I'm going to do F3 take tenders. And again, notice we only have 2 copies in the ship column for that dance magazine item. I'm going to arrow down, and she's going to give us a check. There's that $35.96. Again, it's going to default to what is shippable. If I wanted to override it and have it pay for everything, I would just manually punch in that $64.79. But for now, we're just going to have her pay for the one chunk that we're shipping out. I'm going to say enter line. And here's this point of worth noting. At some point, you're going to make these decisions of, do I charge now? Is there going to be a deposit? Is that deposit going to be used when I do finally ship? There's all these details that come up that at some point you cannot undo. If you start going one direction, you cannot turn back and change your direction in some instances. In this case, I want to be committed to the fact that I'm going to ship 2 copies. I'm only having her pay for those 2 copies, and that's it. So I'm going to say, I do want to post, and yes, I do want to ship. I can say no. All that would do is recognize that we're taking in tender, but nothing is shipped, and it would change this order from a draft to an open status. But again, Donna does want us to go ahead and ship out those items and pay for just the items that we're shipping. So I'm going to say yes, ship now, and sure, let's go ahead and print. You can do an invoice, you can do a pick list, you can do a packing list, but for now, let's just take a peek at that invoice. So here is the invoice as it might print out. You can see the customer order number 109. If I was working on a second or a third shipment, it would have a -2 or a -3, but it's got a -1 because this is the first shipment we've been doing. There's our store address information up here. And here's Donna's billing and shipping. And notice we had changed her shipping address temporarily for this particular order. There's that different shipping address. And then here's the titles that she had ordered, and the note that only 2 of them are shippable, the other 2 are on back order, and that she's only paying for the amount that is shippable. There's the check for $35.96. So there's our invoice. Let me back out of that, and I'll say no, I don't need to print it. Let me cancel this. So now we have an open customer order for Donna that contains those 2 remaining items, the 2 copies of the one that was back ordered. This list tab is a lot like the receiving area where you have these green and gray records. The green records are your last known picture, your master record, whatever you want to call it. The gray shipment records are just a record of what was shipped in that particular batch. I could have, as you can see in CO number 102, I could have multiple shipments already. But let's go back to the open one, and let's address that remaining item. So perhaps we have a really long order, and it's kind of hard to see what's really left that I need to deal with. Maybe I don't care about seeing the dance magazine title anymore. I consider it to be done because it says 2 in the total ship. If I don't want to see everything that's left over or everything that's been dealt with, I can uncheck the show completed items. You've seen that in receiving as well. But we can toggle that on or off depending on what we want to see. but let's concentrate on that remaining item. So in this case, we did do our back order, but maybe I haven't had a chance to finish my receiving. That's okay. We don't have enough on hand at the moment, but I'm going to kind of skip past and bypass my normal receiving. Not preferable, but in this case, we just want to show you. So in this case, we have marked 2 that are ordered and still open for that school board title. And notice it still thinks there are 2 on back order. You're going to want to work from left to right anytime you're going to manually override these fields. If I change what's in the ship quantity, it's going to recalculate what's in the back order. If I change the back order quantity, it's going to recalculate the back order and drop it down to cancel. So work from left to right. So I'm going to first say, no, I'm not going to back order those 2. I've already got them. I just haven't finished my receiving. I'm going to say 2 for ship. Notice it took it from the back order. If I had changed the back order down to 0, it would have actually thought I was meaning to tell it cancel those 2 copies. So work from left to right when you're trying to manually override something. I'm going to go ahead and say enter line. And let me pause right now and F10 save. So here again, we are showing a total only for what is shippable. And in this case, it's the $27.20 and the $1.63 of tax. Now, at this point, I can do F3 take tenders, and maybe she's given us a second check. Maybe it's a week later. And there again, it automatically comes up with only what's due based on what is shippable. So there's the $28.83. I'm going to enter the line. Yes, I want to ship. Yes, I want to print. Let's take a peek at the preview here. There again, we're only considering the 2 quantities that we are getting ready to ship, the school board title. And there again, there's just the amount due, the check, and the check that she gave us and the amount due. So there's nothing left at this point. And there's our second shipment right there. Let me go ahead and back out of this. I'm going to skip printing. I'm going to cancel out of the print screen altogether. And now we have a completed customer order 109 and 2 historical shipments. So there's the details of the first shipment. Notice shipment status up here. There's the title we shipped. Here's the tender we took, and there's the tax that was charged. And then the second shipment, excuse me. There's the second shipment. There's a number 2 to indicate it was the second one. And there again, there's the school board title that we shipped 2 copies. There's the check we took, and that's how much tax we charged. That's a quick, basic customer order. There are a couple other details that we'll try to go into in further videos. But one other important detail that a lot of people do ask about is, what about doing a quote? Let me go back to the List tab, and I'm going to create a new customer order. This time, let's say it's for Rosie, and it's going to be for a school. The school has given us a list of what they hope to order, and Rosie's going to be in charge of that. And she needs a quote to go back to her school board to get final approval to make sure that they're okay with what she's requested to order and that they understand the grand total of the order. To do that, while we're still in a draft customer order, I want to go to the header tab, and I'm going to say that this is a pro forma invoice, a quote. At this point, I'm going to F10 save. And now I can start going to the Details tab, and let's select a couple items we know we don't have enough on hand that we know we're going to have to back order. And let's add a title that we do have enough on hand for. And there again, that autofill knows that we have enough to copy and 1 on hand to do the shipment with. So I'm going to enter the line. Again, F10 save every so often. So we have pro forma invoice checked. Rosie needs a quote to go back to the school board to get approval. At this point, notice we're still doing that calculation of what is shippable, but in her case, she's more concerned with what's the grand total after everything is said and done. With pro forma invoice checked, for quote checked, if I do F11 print at this point, you will see that we put in bold font up top that this is a pro forma, it's a quote, and regardless of what might be shippable now or later, we are calculating the full out price, the subtotal of both the titles, the tax, and there's the grand total of the whole order. So let's say Rosie presents that to the school board. I'm going to skip printing for the moment. and she gets their approval. And you get that phone call back saying, yep, it's a real deal, let's go ahead and move forward with it. The first thing you're going to want to do is to go back to the customer order, go to the header tab, and you're going to want to uncheck pro forma. You've now said that this is an official order, and Rosie has given you a purchase order that they need to have included on any invoices so that their accountant can track what this order was. So you have a field for customer PO to populate whatever in a purchase order number they're giving you. Just make sure that you F10 save. And now when we go back to the details tab, again, we still are showing the partial shipment amount, not the grand total. But if we do F11 print and we do another preview, you'll see it's no longer pro forma. We're only showing what might be shippable at this moment, but we do show her customer PO number. So let me back out of here. At this point, it's just like any other customer order. Cancel the printing here. At this point, we would mark what was shippable and then go ahead and F3 take tenders. That's it for the real basic customer orders. There are a few other details that affect it. If you do want more information, you can go to the help system, which do help on the web. That will open up an internet browser. Let me share this entire window here. Now you can see the help system, the online help system that are open. And we're going to look under using Visual Anthology, the sales menu, customer order, and you can see there's the specifics about other parts of the customer order module. If you have further questions, go ahead and email support@anthology.com with your questions, and we'll see if we can get them answered for you. Thank you much.